Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and I'm excited to talk to a great friend and a fabulous chiropractor, Dr. Nicole Coffman. Cole, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you.
I have to go backwards because I have to talk about your profile picture that we just had up there with you with one of the green books. Which book were you holding? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. If you hadn't asked me, I could have told you. Oh, look at that. She put it back on. The bigness of the fellow within.
That's what I thought it was. And I was going to ask you that, but I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. That's a great
We were
picture.
at the hotel where he wrote the book.
At the one in North Carolina, the Grove
Park. Why
Grove
am I
Park.
forgetting it?
I think it's Grove Park Inn.
Yeah, Grove
Yes.
Park Inn. We're going to say that's what it is.
That's awesome. You know, it's interesting because I've had friends that have nothing to do with chiropractic go there and see his picture, and then all of a sudden they start asking questions and putting it back together, you know, putting the pieces together. So that's pretty cool.
That's fun. Yeah.
Is that close to where you guys are?
No, I went on a little girls trip with some DE ladies, and we all got our picture taken in front of his picture, and it was fun.
Very fun. Very fun. Listen, that's one of the things that I want to talk to you about, because as women in chiropractic, we tend to wear so many hats, right? Sometimes we are the wife of a chiropractor. Sometimes we are the chiropractor. Sometimes we are the one that runs the practice. Sometimes we're the one that's taking care of the kids. And sometimes we're just doing all of it. And I know that's your story, right?
Yes. Yeah, I wear all the hats. Sometimes I get to take a couple off, but most of the time, you know, they're hanging on at some point. But yeah, I mean, so I am a chiropractor. I'm married to a chiropractor. I have brothers that are chiropractors, sister-in-law that are chiropractor. So, and then a million friends that are chiropractors, right? But then yes, I'm a homeschool mom. So I practice in the office part-time only because I'm homeschooling the kids. Well, now just one kid, which is so weird. So the other two are graduated and doing their thing, but still have Olivia at home. She's a sophomore in high school this year. And, you know, literally 20 minutes ago, I was sitting in this chair and Olivia was next to me and we were doing algebra. So like, I have to now take off the math hat, which I don't wear well anyway.
That was my one favorite subject, math and science, homeschooling. Oh my gosh. I got that.
I farm out the math. As much as I can, but fortunately, algebra I do okay in. So I was able to help her this morning. There was one problem that I'm like, I don't know. You're gonna have to ask me this. So
I'm glad you said that, because I farmed out the art, the history.
I also farm out art. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had a great art teacher that really instilled artistic qualities in my children that were awesome, but so not me. I'd buy the art supplies, but not do anything with them. But you want to do science? Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah, on Mondays, we go to a homeschool tutorial on Mondays. So it's like a school day, but just one day a week. Mm-hmm. And so I'm there with Olivia all day, and I teach a couple of classes. I teach anatomy and physiology.
Go figure.
Imagine. But yeah, I teach all day on Mondays doing that too. So it's fun.
I love it because as women in chiropractic, I think that we are so used to just doing so much. We don't even stop to think about it. It's just a part of who we are, but we juggle so much. And then we don't just go to the office and see patients. We take care of them. There's a nurturing aspect that I think, no disrespect to any of the men in the profession, but I think there's a nurturing aspect that comes out naturally because we're women, and because that's just what most of us are gifted in being able to do.
Yeah, agree totally. I think it's just natural to bring that in for sure.
So talk to us about when you get to the office. Where's your head? Are you focused on the kids? You know, what do you do to get yourself right when you get to the office?
Well, I mean, I've got a 40-minute ride to the office. So I have that time to kind of change hats, so to speak, you know, and then when I get there, I don't walk in when we open. I try to walk in at least 30 minutes prior to. Well, so I get there, we're closed from 1 to 2 for lunch. I'm in Central Time, but So we're closed from 1 to 2 for lunch. And so I try to get there around 1:30, 1:45. So I'm not walking in 2 o'clock, boom. Like, get that time to just decompress a little bit. I check in with my husband, who's been there all morning. So if there's anything that we need to discuss, about the morning or discuss about what's going on in the afternoon. So we take that time to discuss things and whatnot. We don't have a CA. It's just the two of us in the office. So he's running it like a rock star in the morning, and then we go together in the afternoon. And so it's just a matter of, just that, I think just that checking in time is all it takes, really. Like, I don't know. I think I've been doing it so long. I don't need a lot of prep or a lot of time to switch those hats,
Yeah.
I mean, again, like, I was just doing algebra. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take a lot, I think, especially for people that are used to multitasking or used to doing a lot of jobs, so to speak. It's just, I think, practice too. A lot of people that say, oh, I could never XYZ, whatever. Yeah, you can. You might suck at it at first, but you can do it. People that see me and my husband working together, patients or even other chiropractors, oh, I could never. And I'm like, well, we fought a lot the first few months that we worked together. Like, what you're seeing in the office today was not the way it was in the first few months, and that's okay, right? Like, we now have that balance and never fight in the office or otherwise. You just have to figure out where everything goes, so to speak.
That's so important. And I think it's one of the things that I know personally I've struggled with, where do things go? How do you do it all? For me, I had to let go of anybody else's words trying to push on you of balance. Balance to me was a misnomer. It's not something I ever struggled for. I believed in present time consciousness. I am where I am. And then when I'm someplace else, I am where I am. And that was where my focus was. And I had to get really good at that, even though my kids were in the office with me up until they started public school 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
They homeschooled, they were in the office, they were, I had the back room set up. But when I was with the patients, I had to make sure that I was there. Even though the kids are in the office, I would go back with them when I needed to. So what is it that works for you? And is there something specific that you do during your drive time? Do you listen to things? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Do you just get clear? Do you visualize? What is it that you do or do you just sing at the top of your lungs, right?
It's different from day to day. So most days I talk to my mom on the ride, actually. So most days that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I listen to podcasts. I listen to music sometimes. And a lot of people think this is weird, but I listen to nothing. I have my radio off, and a lot of people think that's really, how do you drive in silence? And I'm like, I've got so much going on every day, all day long. I enjoy a silent drive. Backwards from most people, but that's okay. That's the way I like it. But I drive in absolute silence. Sometimes I take that time to pray. Sometimes I take that time to think about nothing. So it really is different from day to day. And I think we need to learn how to just be okay with whatever it is that's going on and just do what we feel we need to in that moment. And what you said about just being in the moment and being, when you're with the patient, when you're with your kids, I mean, that's the only way to be successful when you have multiple hats that you have to wear, which most of us do. There are very few people in the world that don't have multiple hats to wear, right? We used to have our kids in the office as well when they were younger, because we've always homeschooled from pre-K, whatever. They've never been in school. And so we did when they were younger and didn't want to leave them at home. They came to work with us, and the patients loved it. We had a little room in the back, same thing. And and then when they got old enough to where Samantha, our oldest, could watch them, then I would be home in the mornings and then gone in the afternoons, kind of similar to the way we're doing it now. So I think just learning how to be in that moment. And Olivia, our kids know, you do not call us on our cell phone during office hours. If you're calling me on my cell phone, then you better be dying. Like something's going on.
The house better be on fire.
And so when I get a phone call and it's like a stupid question, I'm like, Olivia, that was not an office phone call. Right. You know, so like, so texting is always, so I check my phone periodically through the day just to make sure that everything's good. But as long as my phone's not ringing, I know everything's fine, you know.
I get that because I've got the watch that I can at least look and see, okay, it's the kids calling, it's the kids texting, and we kind of have this unspoken agreement that I don't answer, but if they really need something, they just call the office and they talk to the staff.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. But they better not be calling.
Right. Like, don't be calling me to ask, what are we doing for dinner? No, I don't. Now is not the time. I'm with patients. And that's typically my answer to them. What's going on? Okay, I'm with patients. This is not important. I'll call you later. Right. But I'm with patients.
That's why texting is king, right? Like Olivia can text me all day long and I just check it when I can and I answer when I can, and it's not a big deal.
And I think it's important for our children to see us in different roles.
Yeah.
And if I can, I'll share a story. When I was probably 13, 15, 16, I don't know, 18 years old. I don't remember what age it was. I know I was still in school. I remember realizing that my mother was not just my mother. My mother was Josephine, meaning she went to a job where she was a very high-powered corporate executive woman running Cablevision, right? Big cable company, first cable company in the country. And this was her role. But in my eyes, she's my mom, right? She would leave in the morning, go get her coffee. She'd come back, drop off a bagel on the kitchen table for me and go to work. So I didn't have that connection. And at a certain point when I realized, wow, she's got this high-powered job and she's taking the time out to get me a bagel and drive all the way back and walk in, put it on the kitchen table, get back in the car, drive to work. That's when it started to click for me how amazing my mom was. My dad too, but really that was the time when it clicked for me with my mom. And I've always felt that it's so important for our children to see us all in our multiple roles so that they have an appreciation for what we do, but they also don't have false expectations that life's going to be easy. We're just going to kick back and relax and work a few hours a week and, have nice houses and nice cars and nice friends and great relationships, that they need to see that there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We do not give our kids any sort of false sense of life is fair or everything is easy. That's not how our house works. Things were not fair amongst the children. I'm not the kind that's like, okay, well, so-and-so got this, so so-and-so needs to get it too. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that we went out of our way to make things unfair by any stretch. If things could be fair, then of course you try to make them fair. But things are not easy always. And that's just the way life is. And I think it is important that they see that. But they see through hard work and dedication, they can get better. And they can, so I don't know if your kids play sports, but our youngest is big into basketball and volleyball. And like, okay, well, if you want to be a starter, then I guess you need to put some time in. That kid was working 2 hours a day on basketball. And it's like, okay, she cares. she wants to improve, and she did, and she's a starter, so you have to instill that somehow. And some kids learn it and some kids don't. And as parents, we have to be okay with that as well. They're not going to hear everything that you say, at least today. Right. And same thing with our patients.
Right. The same thing with our patients. Sometimes,
but
you think they get it. You think they understand it. And then you come to find out that they just heard either what they wanted to hear or parts of what we communicated.
Right. Well, we get new patients. Okay, well, I want to see you 2 to 3 times a week. And then the next time they come, so when should I come back? Or do you want to see me again? Yeah, I just told you that the last time you were here.
I know.
It's just very first.
it's new to them, and I talk about this periodically. The very first office that I was in was when I was doing the Florida internship. This is back in the 1900s, right? In 99, I was doing the Florida internship, and it was a high volume practice, super high volume practice. And when we were done with the report of findings, we had like the 3 copy paper, the white, the yellow, the pink, and we would circle every single appointment for the year, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for 3 months. And then, we would circle the entire care plan on this 3 copy paper. One would go in the file, one would go here, and one would go to the patient. And so every patient walked out with their schedule already mapped out for them for the duration of their care plan, whether it was 6 months, 3 months, a year, whatever it was. But they walked out with it. And in hindsight, I look at it and I say, there's a reason why the practice was so high volume. People didn't ask, when do I come back? People didn't ask, when am I done? They had a piece of paper that was hanging up in their house or their office or somewhere that they could see that showed them their schedule that was proposed for them.
Mm-hmm. Make it easy.
Make it easy. And I think that's a big thing, is when we look at our lives and how we juggle everything that we do, it has to be easy so that we can continue to do what we do. You serve on a very high level. You don't miss a DE. You're very involved in your kids' lives. You guys have a great relationship, you and your husband. You've got a great family, right? So you don't get that by accident. You get that through work, but it's got to be work that is fun and easy to do, or something will fall by the wayside. The relationship will fall by the wayside, or the kids' activities would fall by the wayside, or the homeschooling would have to get, moved off to something else. Because if it wasn't easy and it wasn't fun, you wouldn't be able to continue doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously not everything's going to be easy, right? But like you say, if the majority of the time it needs to be easy, or at least structured in a way that it can be easy, so that you can be successful in the scheduling, at least, right? Of making it all fit in your week and in your life. And that does include, like relationship with a spouse or relationship with your kids. You have to make time to be in touch with, like we try to make sure that we're watching movies or playing games on the weekends with Olivia, and Dan and I basically watch TV together every single day. Some people think that's unhealthy. I don't care, because I'm sitting with my husband on the couch, and that's how we're choosing to spend our time together. Right. So like whatever you're choosing to do is for you. Right. Mm-hmm. And when you have that balance at home, you can then have more balance at the office. And so you can't have that balance at the office if you don't have that balance at home. Not as well anyway. Obviously, there are people that can do it. But I just think it comes so much easier at the office if you've got the home life in check a little bit, right?
I agree. I think when everything works, everything works.
Yeah. And, Dan and I make fun of each other sometimes, like, everyone has an off day, right? So, but if I have an off day on the same time as Dan has an off day, we're like, no, I'm sorry. One of us has to figure it out. Right. One of us has to wake up, because
Josh draws. Not your day.
I'm sorry, I call it. It's my day.
Right. But that's the reality of life.
Yeah. You're going to have ups and downs, and that's okay. Like, I think a lot of people get really down about the downs, and it's easy to do. I'm not saying I've never done it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, but I think we all need to try and check ourselves and be like, okay, you know what? It's okay. I had an off day or an off moment. Like, we don't have to have the whole day be cruddy, right? So at some point we have to wake up and try to improve that situation. So
find something to celebrate.
Find something. I don't have all the answers, but yeah, find something. I like that. Find something to celebrate, figure out something. Like, if you're like, start writing out your gratitude, do something, pray. I'm usually talking to God. I'm like, all right, so what do you want? What do you want from me? Why am I in this bad mood?
Right. Or even if it's an affirmation that you start your day with, or you end your day with, or a picture on the wall, or if you make a vision board. I think that As chiropractors in general, I think that we do so much more of that than the average person does. I think we're so much more aware of the thoughts that we have and the words that we say and the actions that we portray. We're
Right.
we're tuned into that more than the average person. But sometimes we can get into our own routines and forget about that as well.
Yeah. Well, and again, like we're not perfect, and affirmations or not, prayer or not, we all are going to have bad days. You know, God does not promise us perfection in our days. That's not ever been promised for us.
Right.
And as long as we remember that, I think we'll be better off. Just
Yep.
remembering we don't have to be perfect and we're not going to have perfect days.
That's a great reminder. I think that's a perfect place to stop. What do you think?
There you go.
I think that's a great reminder. So I know that you will be at DE in October, coming back to Atlanta. And because DE is coming back to Atlanta, October 19th through the 22nd, it's going to be back at the Atlanta Marriott Northwest, but DE starts on a Thursday. Well, that Thursday is also the GCC golf tournament. So if you are planning on coming into town for DE, plan on coming in earlier, maybe come in Wednesday night. This way you can play golf with us. It's going to be up at Bridge Mill. This is a phenomenal course. Great time last year. Of course, we ordered perfect weather last year. So we're going to do the same thing this year. We'll make sure that we have perfect weather, a fabulous day, beautiful golf course. Great people will be there. Lots of great sponsors have really chipped in for this. If you want to sponsor it, if you want to sponsor a hole, if you want to put your office name on a hole, or if you got a business, just let us know. You can scan that code right there or go to chirocup.com to get more information. But sponsors and players, we're getting you registered right now. This is our 6th annual GCC Chiro Cup. It's on October 19th. And of course, that leads right into DE that weekend. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about all the phenomenal continuing ed events that we have going on all around the state. It's one of the things GCC has always been committed to doing since I've been on the board, which is, I don't even know. They don't let you off. You get on, you stay on. So I think I've been on the board about 30 years now. But we do continuing ed around the state. We've got Augusta coming up next weekend. We head to South Georgia. That's Warner Robins in September. We've got the Chiro Cup. Then we head to Savannah for the first weekend in November. And then we're back in the Atlanta area for our convention. That is December 8th through 10th. We've got our big Christmas party that night. We'll have a great time. And at every one of these events, you can get all 20 of your CE live and in person. So remember, in the state of Georgia, you've got to do 20 hours per year, not 40 hours per renewal, 20 hours per year. And you can only do a total of 20 hours online. So you've got to come and do some of the hours in person. And then if you want to, you can always do some more online. But every one of these weekends that we do, you are able to get your full 20 hours. That includes all of your requireds, like your Georgia law, your risk management, and it includes your technique and everything else. So check out our website for more information on any of our events or to get registered. That's georgiachiropractic.org. If you are not already a member of GCC, I would love to invite you to check out our membership. We've got lots of different levels. We've got levels for students. We've got step levels for new docs. We've got levels for everybody. So check out the different levels of measurement membership on our website at georgiachiropractic.org. And Dr. Nicole, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and sharing how you juggle everything.
Thank you so much. It was good talking to you.
It was great talking to you. And thank you, everybody, for watching us. You know, we're here every Wednesday. We do this around 1:30 on Wednesday afternoon. We've got a phenomenal lineup of speakers that are going to be coming on and just sharing their passion for chiropractic, sharing what works for them, sharing some stories, and just helping to hopefully motivate and inspire you so that you can go out and serve your community to the best of your ability. Thanks, Dr. Nicole.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection.
Woohoo.